What you've been learning in class, Grace?
A half is when you've got two groups and you're splitting them.
So fractions are about groups and splitting?
Yep.
So you say? What did Grayson say fractions were about?
Groups and splitting.
Can you repeat that?
Groups and splitting.
So fractions are about groups and splitting. I've drawn some pictures here on the board. So this is 1/4 coloured in because it's 4 parts and one of them is coloured in. We're interested in one of them. The bottom number on a fraction tells you how many groups or how many parts you've split it into. So the bottom number on a fraction tells you how many groups or how many parts you've split it into. What does the bottom number mean?
How many parts or how many groups you've split it into.
Perfect. What does the bottom number mean?
How many parts or how many groups you've split it into.
Fantastic. So here we've got 1/4 because there's one we're interested in, one group, one thing we're interested in, and there's 1, 2, 3/4 over here. Where it gets hard is when we have something like this and we're still interested in 1/4 of these 8 circles, of these 8 things. What does the bottom number of a fraction tell you?
How many groups and how many fractions you split it into.
Good, how many groups there are. So we need to put these 8 things into 4 quarters or 4 groups. So we could go 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 2 in each group and then we're interested in one of them. So we're going to do some work today with worms. What I'd like you to do in threes, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, I want you to get 9 cubes, and I want you to put them into a worm for me as quick as you can. You've got about 10 seconds to do this. After you've made your worm, I want you to put any leftovers back in here as fast as you can. So you might have to shuffle around a bit just so our friend at the back there. Fast as you can, you just need 1 worm, 9 blocks.
I'll make it.
7 seconds to go.
I know how you make it. I got it.
7,
9.
6, 5, 1 worm, 9 blocks. 6,
You got 9.
5, the rest of them go back in here. 4, 3, 2, fantastic, good work, 1 and 0. Just check what have we got here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. How many blocks did you need? 9, make sure you're getting it right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, nice, excellent work. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now, here's the story. 2 birds. I'm an excellent drawer.
Doesn't look. Yeah. Let's go for a fast drawing.
2 birds come along. This bird here is a little bird and doesn't eat very much, and it got to eat 1/3 of the worm down there. Wait, don't touch it. This bird here is a fat bird, and it ate 2/3 of the worm. Can you remind me, please, what does the bottom number of a fraction mean?
How many there? How many groups? How many groups or?
Good, how many groups there are. What does the bottom number of a fraction mean?
How many groups?
Fantastic. Can you see if you can work out? Can you show me with the worm that's in front of you? I want one area where you show me how much this bird eats, the 1/3, and one area where the second bird that eats 2/3. Can you show me? And if you're stuck, I want you to think about what does the bottom number mean? And how can that help us work it out? Right, off you go. Let's have a look and see what you do.
So take away 3. Okay. So those 2 belong to 1 3 of the 3 for the 3. The birds eat 2. That's the fat bird. This is the we done for the small bird. And it makes 2 here and 1 here.
2 and 3. That was simple.
Split into 3 groups, and that one gets 2 and that one gets 1.
Right. Stop touching the materials. Push that out in front of you and don't touch it again. Yep, good. Just so you can see them separately. Everyone looks pretty much the same. Who would like an opportunity to explain to the group how they worked out how much the fat bird got. Who would like to explain that to the group? Absolutely. What's your name again? Damon, off you go.
These are the two blocks that the two worms that the fat bird ate. This is the worm that the skinny bird ate.
Great. Can anyone describe it in terms of the fractions? You're absolutely right, the fractions that the bird got to eat. Yeah. Yeah, you weren't wrong. I'm just getting someone to build onto your idea. Fantastic work. Off you go.
The worm split her into three birds, and then
But can you just pause there? Because that was a really good idea. What did he just say? The worm got split into...
three birds.
Fantastic. Can you repeat that as well? The worm got split into...
3 thirds.
3/3. Good. Can keep going?
And the fat bird took two of the thirds, and then the little bird only got one.
1 of the thirds. Can you repeat what he said?
The fat bird got two, and the little bird only got one.
This is a really important time to listen right now, Rowena. Because what if I asked you, what is 2/3 of 9? 2/3 of 9. I want you to look at what you've got down there, your materials. Think about the birds, think about the worm. I want you to talk to your group so that everyone understands. And I'm going to ask someone to talk back to the group. Off you go. What is 2/3 of 9?
2/3 of 9. So you take two blossoms of the difference of 9.
So one whole one here and 9 blocks, and you take one and then another one, and then
of the
that
9.
is 2/3
And this is the
of
other
9.
half of the 9.
Wait, I think I got it.
So you just said it's the other half of the 9. Do you agree with that?
I then I just said the third of
Oh, so you changed your mind to third. Because halves, if something's in half, it means it's in 2 groups, doesn't it? It's got a 2 at the bottom. We're not talking about halves, we're talking about thirds. Right. Who would like to talk to the group and tell them how you know what 2/3 of 9 was? Why don't we have someone who... Yeah, why not?
So this is the worm, and you take 2 thirds of the third of the worm, and it makes 6.
Makes 6. Can you repeat what she said?
You got a worm, and then you take 2/3 of the worm, and it makes 6.
Right, I'm going to show you a way of drawing fractions. And this is really helpful. 2 ways, actually. This way I call the Morrow method, because it sort of looks like a Morrow bar to start with. So you start with your whole worm. And how big was our whole worm in blocks?
9.
9. Can you just shuffle around a bit, Zoe, because our friend Damon in the back, I need you to just be part of the group, my friend. 9. And then, what fractions did we cut our worm into? We cut it into thirds. What fraction did we cut it into? Thirds. And we cut it into thirds because there are 3 pieces, or 3 groups, because that's on the bottom. And then if we're splitting 9 into 3 groups, how big will each group be?
3.
3. And then I wanted to know about 2 of the 3 groups. So 3 plus 3 is 6. Okay. We've got time for one more problem. And I want you to show me a way of thinking about this with the blocks. I ate 1/4 of a worm. It was, that 1/4 was Floor. 4 blocks long. How long is the whole worm?
4.
So I ate 1/4 of a worm, and it was 4. So this is how much I got to eat, and it was 4 blocks long.
Oh.
The rest of the worm got away. I want to know how long is the whole. No, you're not telling me. You're about to work with your group. Okay. How long is the whole worm? You might need some more blocks. I want you to do 2 things. 1, I want you to be able to show me with the blocks. BLOCKS. And I want you to be able to show me a picture drawn with my Morrow method, if you can. Okay, you know, with the Morrow method, with the numbers. Let me just, right, you guys can start talking. I'm just going to get you a bit of paper for each of your groups.
We need some more.
Yep, more blocks are here.
We need 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Got 4 for you. Yeah, we need them on. 3, 4. Okay. That equals 13. That'll equal 13. 4, 8,
What?
5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
You've got a pen? Great. There's something to write with for you guys. Something to write with for you guys. If you like.
How long was the whip? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Let me count. 4. 10. We need 2 more. Yep, Jen. Let me count it.
Good question. If I ate 1/4, can you remind me what the bottom number means on a fraction?
4 groups.
Okay, so there's a clue for you.
Oh, you need 4 groups. You need 4 groups. No, I'll count. So, we've got 16 pieces of the worms.
Can you think about a way?
I ate 4 worms, and then the rest got away. How long is my worm gonna be? So, the worm might be.
Grace, can you just talk a little bit quieter so it's the people in your group they can hear, not everybody? And can you think about me? But I can see you're making great progress with the blocks. Can you also think about how you could draw it using the Morrow method that I showed you?
Oh, okay. So,
Can you tell me a little bit what your group's been doing?
up 3 quarters.
3 quarters.
4.
4 quarters. What does the bottom number on the fraction mean?
How much?
It means there'll be 4 groups.
4 groups. Oh, 4 on 1.
So it doesn't tell you how many's in each group. It,
4 groups of 3. 4 groups. I mean, 3 groups of 4.
well, this is one of the groups here. This is the group that I ate. 1/4. I ate 1/4.
Quarter of 3. We had 12. It had 12 altogether. 12.
Okay, so here's the 4 that you had. This is the 4 that I managed to eat before the worm got away. And this is the other part here, is it?
So this is the 4 because
This is the other part of the worm? So how many groups do you have down there?
This is the 4.
So what fraction is your worm broken up into?
It's
It's broken up into 3 parts. It's broken up into
thirds.
thirds. But how much did I eat? I ate 1/4. So you might need to get some more blocks.
2, 4, that's 16, I go 16. Put 16 at the bottom.
Yes. So this is the half that I eat.
Right, 1 minute left, and then I'm going to choose one of the groups to report back.
This is don't go away. This is the one that
Damien, can you?
that I
Looks like you've got some great ideas there.
that
Can you make sure the rest of your group understands what you've been doing?
So this is and we now just the that's the way. We need 12 more. How much do I make more on that? 12. Oh yes, it makes 16 because you can use your timetables for this. 4 plus 4.
This one was here, and these ones ran away, and these got that.
8.
30 seconds left.
Let me read. Now let me have this is the one that I ate. And this is the one that got away. That's 8. This is so if I split it into water into 4 groups. So 16. That means I've got 3 more worms left.
3 more quarters.
3 more quarters left.
So try if you can describe it with a fraction, Grayson. Try and use a fraction. Right, 10 seconds left.
They have 1 whole worm.
There was a whole worm. This is the only part that I ate. I don't know. I wanted to know how big the whole worm was when it got away. Right. Turning back so that everyone's part of the circle again, please. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I can see some great pictures around, and I'm just going to choose one person. Davinch, could you talk to the whole group about what your group did to work out how long the whole worm was?
Yeah, so we did there was 4 over here, and
Sorry to interrupt, Davinch. What were my 2 rules that I gave you at the very beginning? That was the first one. Listen, talk, don't fart. Okay? Which one were you breaking just then? The listening. You need to shift forward because I can tell you're not listening because he's describing what he did with the materials and you're not looking. They are 3 very simple rules. You have to follow them. Sorry,
so
Davinch.
we got 4 in each of them
How did you know there were going to be 4 groups?
because there's 1 out of 4, and this whole thing's 4 and it's 1.
So you knew there were going to be 4 groups because the number on the bottom of the fraction told you how many groups there were. Great.
And then we got 3 away, and it was 3 quarters.
So you had a whole worm here and you knew that this 1/4 here was 4 blocks long. Okay. So each of these other 4 groups must be 4 blocks as well. Have I got that right? Good. So this much of the worm, 3/4, I'm just repeating what you said, 3/4, got away. So I ate 1/4, which was 4 blocks, and 3/4 of the worm got away. So here's my question. What is 3/4 of 16? That's how long the whole worm was. What's 3/4 of 16? If I walked up to you and said, what's 3/4 of 16? What would you say?
12.
12. Because we've got 4, 4 and 4, which is 12. If there were 16 things altogether, we split it into 4 groups, and we took 3 of them, we'd have 12 things. That was super fast. Right, the important things for you to go away today and remember. 1, what does the bottom number of a fraction tell you?
How many groups?
What does the bottom number of a fraction tell you?
How many groups do you have?
Good. What does the bottom number of a fraction tell you?
How many groups do you have?
How many groups there are. That is the main thing to remember for today. I've seen some fantastic thinking. today. Some fantastic work with the material, some fantastic drawings, and I am really, really excited about how much we're going to be able to learn together over the next 4 or 5 weeks. Fantastic. Thank you so much, guys. Go and have a wonderful lunch. I will see you tomorrow.
Should I click on stop for you?
No, I can do that myself, Preston, but I appreciate the offer. Can I have my worms back in here, please? And you can put your drawings in the bin.
I'll break it.